Dr.
Yeah.
Graham, what is a raw vegan?
Well, that's not up for me to decide or for me to define. What's a raw vegan? Is it a state of mind? I don't know. Uh, if I was going to think of me giving my personal definition, what I tend to see is that in dietary definitions, we we the tendency is to get narrower and narrower in the definition, and from like a funnel. Um, Everybody eats, and then you're mostly vegetarian, but you might still call yourself a vegetarian. Heck, the vegetarians welcome in anybody as long as they're not eating a lot of red meat all the time. But if they eat mostly vegetarian, they could still call themselves vegetarian. And but the vegans run a harder line, don't they? I mean, they kind of define it. You're either vegan or you are not.
What are you talking about?
You just drank half and half, baby.
Freeze! Vegan police! Vegan police!
Todd Ingram, you're under arrest for veganity violation. Code number 827. Imbibing a half and half.
It's Bulldor.
No vegan diet, no vegan power!
But how about if you're vegan 350 days a year and you're not on the other 15 or 16? I mean, or you're vegan with only the most minor, maybe the only thing you eat is occasionally you eat some ant juice or something. Um, would you still be a vegan? I don't. Like I say, I'm glad it's not up to me to make the definition. I think a vegan is a person who doesn't intentionally consume animal products, and a raw vegan for me is a person who eats raw food. Does it have to be 100%? Um, for me, yes. For me, it has to be 100%. But if I ate cooked food once a year, would I still be a raw vegan? Yeah, I think so. I think it's more an attitude in many ways than it is what you actually do, because then you have to like start defining raw, and some people are going to say raw is things that haven't been heated. Others are going to say it hasn't been heated over 118. Others are going to say, well, if you put it in a dehydrator at 135, but the food's still sweating off liquid, then the food itself stays cool, even though the dehydrator was 135. I mean, you can drive yourself a little crazy. Uh, is a raw vegan somebody who eats mostly raw food and predominantly vegan? It's not for me to say. I can only say for me.
Yeah.
For me, I eat all raw all the time. Count on it. I am 100% vegan. Count on it. I don't make exceptions there. I have never. Once I went vegan, I stopped making exceptions right then and there. I haven't gone back on the vegan thing from whenever that happened in the early '80s, and we just never looked back because it worked too well to look back. And when I've done that whole thing of struggling with raw until I ended up with low fat raw, until we went the 80-10-10 way of eating lots of fruit. I kept going back to cooked carbohydrates until the early '80s, when I finally said, oh wow, we could pretty much make this work on all raw if I eat enough fruit. But even then, it took a couple of years to figure out how much fruit that really entailed until I zeroed in on what I was doing now. And so for me, it's 100% raw 100% of the time. And the people who give you any other numbers, I don't know how they come up with those numbers, because they never give you a unit. And they say I'm 90% raw. Well, is that like by volume or by calorie or by cost or by time or by what? So they never say. I'm not going to exclude anybody who wants to be part of the 80-10-10 group. if they're making an honest effort to eat 80-10-10.